What is up, everyone? Welcome to the watch party. I'm gonna read through the chat really quick, and then we'll go over the schedule. Make sure you guys rack up those likes, more hooligans. What's up, USA Forever? What's up, Cheeky Chops? What's up, Sniffin' Glue? What's up, Justin? What's up, T-Lot? And what's up, Toy Mafia? What's up, Basalt Reality? What's up, Damon Walker? What's up, Parabellum? Happy freedom, you hooligans. What's up, JT3? What's up, Speedy Girl? What's up, Dave? What's up, JB? Happy freedom. I appreciate you guys being here. Give me a second to read through here real quick. Make sure everything's running smoothly. What's up, everyone on the JeffMAC Live YouTube channel? What's up, Indigo? Happy freedom. What's up, everyone on Twitch? What's up, Mr. Beansy Beans? What's up, Snooks? Happy freedom. I appreciate you, Snooks. Well, it looks like Odyssey's playing off of the old live. I don't know. Odyssey pisses me off with that stuff. Whatever. As long as we're live. I don't know. They need to get their shit together. What's up, everyone on Rumble? What's up, Amanda? What's up, Jeb? What's up, Kimberly? What's up, Speedy Girl? What's up, Rob something? Appreciate you guys being over on Rumble. What's up, everyone on JeffMacLive.com. Alright, on the schedule we have Old Man Walter discussing his plan to lower prescription drug costs. That video is almost 20 minutes long. And then we have a video that is titled Ohio AG demands Norfolk Southern pay for toxic train crash aftermath. And then we have a video that is titled Here was a real serious problem that needed to be solved, talking about crime in D.C. And then we have two videos that will be on the free speech platforms. One's about drones, the other one's about indoctrination. When it's time, I'll post links in the chat so you guys can come over to the free speech platforms and watch the rest of the show when we get to that point. Alright, give me a second to pull up this live, well, it's not live anymore, but this video with Old Man Walter. I'll read through the chat really quick and we'll get this started. What's up, Tony? What's up, Anthony? Anthony, I think I got a card from you or something like that. I haven't checked. I did run to the P.O. box and pick some stuff up, and I believe I seen your name there. I appreciate you. What's up, Kilgore? What's up, Railroad? The free speech platforms is Rumble, Odyssey, JeffMacLive.com, but you could also watch on Twitch and Twitter. All right, hooligans, let's get it started.
Please welcome Nevada resident David Berman.
Jeez, the guy's talking like he has the microphone inside of his mouth.
They gave me a script to work from. It's my script, I wrote it. But I have to change the first two words, which were good morning. So I'll say, good afternoon, everyone. My name is David Berman. Despite my Massachusetts accent, my wife Rob...
He's invisible.
I've lived in a seniors community in Nevada for 23 years. Before that, I served in the United States Air Force, and then I practiced law, and I've been a type 2 diabetic for even longer than that.
Oh, wow, I think their audio is way off sync.
Diabetic injection pen. I take a shot with each meal every day, but that's not all. Here's another one. This is a slower acting insulin. I take a shot before I go to bed. I think all the white coats understand how that works. And that keeps me from dropping too low on my blood sugar at night. In January, thanks to Joe Biden's efforts and the assistance of a Democratic Senate and House of Representatives, my monthly insulin costs dropped by 50%. And I know that countless Americans saw their costs drop even more. That's real money in my pocket, folks. Money that comes in handy on a fixed income.
Is that money in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
President Biden lowered the cost of insulin, and he has rolled up his sleeves to work on lowering drug costs across the board. Promises made and promises kept. This has been the hallmark of Joe Biden's presidency, and I'm deeply honored to be able to thank him in person and introduce him today. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Joe Biden.
I can't believe how off sync the audio is. It's way bad. Dad, it's CGI. Something like that. I had to guess when to unmute it because he's not on stage visually.
We're the nurses. Now look, I've been a significant consumer of healthcare. My family has.
Come on,
Doctors let you live. Nurses, male and female, make you want to live. No, I'm serious. The single most underrated profession in America are nurses. Nurses. I mean it. Let me begin by thanking the president of this great university for allowing me to, take a seat if you have one. Professor Whitefield, thank you, President, he's a professor as well, but thank you for allowing me back on campus. I have gotten no additional degrees in the lately, but thank you for letting me be here.
That's because CSC offenders aren't supposed to be at schools.
You know, I really mean it. It makes a difference in people's lives, what we're doing and what you all are supporting. And Dina Titus and Steve Horsford, two of the best members of the Congress that I've ever dealt with. There you are. And we have the Attorney General here, too. Folks, you know, Aaron and state and local tribal leaders are here. Would the tribal leaders stand up? Because I don't know how many are here. Because I was... There you go. Chief, good to see you, man. And by the way, it's Indian nations. Indian nations. And I'm here today to talk about an issue affecting every single American, your health care. And I want to first thank the health care workers in this room. In the best of times, I really mean it. In the best of times, you do the Lord's work, but over the last 3 years during the pandemic, you've literally risked your lives for the rest of us. Healthcare workers have put their lives on the line, and it matters. And it really, really matters. And I think the American public is beginning to understand just how consequential you are. You're used to going to the doc, but they're not used to the doc going into a tough area to take care of them. And we lost 1 million people. And we would have lost a lot fewer if we started earlier, not because of the doc's decisions, but because of other decisions made. Oh, wow, I didn't see you all up there. Holy mackerel. Don't jump. Don't.
That was a good one. We're going to jack that.
That if illness strikes or they have an accident occurs in their family, they can get the care they need, but they can afford the care they need. But the truth is, too many folks lie in bed at night staring at the ceiling wondering what they would do if something happened. If their spouse got a serious illness, or if they got very sick, or their child got sick, if something happens to them. You know, I remember we lived in I raised in a normal middle-class home back in Delaware, a 3-bedroom house with 4 kids, and a grandpop living with us, a split-level home. And my bedroom was next to my mom and dad's, me and my 3 brothers. And we had 2 sets of bunks. And you could tell when Dad was restless. I remember one night, true story, one night my dad, I could feel like he was rolling in bed because the headboard was hit the side of the wall. And I next morning asked I said, God's truth, I asked my mom. I said, I was in, I think, a junior in high school. So what's the matter with Dad? She said, we just lost our insurance. His business was no longer going to cover insurance for the employees. It was a consequential decision that affected my dad and would have affected if any one of us had gotten really sick. What happens? Do you have to sell the house? Do you have to make some kind of sacrifice that exceeds what is actually reasonable? And it's about your dignity. You know, do you have enough insurance? Can you afford these medical bills? Can you if it gets bad enough, do you have to do something drastic in order to pay for it? And for seniors on fixed income who often need expensive medications to stay healthy, the constant question is, can they pay for the medications? Can they pay the bills without giving up the important elements of their lives? Because the bottom line is, at the end of the month, do you have enough to pay all that you need and take care of the exigencies that occur? It's not just the elderly. It's almost every family out there. It's not just your health. It's about your dignity. It's about your security. That's why my administration is focused intensely on getting more people affordable health care by lowering prescription drug costs and giving families just a little bit, as my dad would say, just a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, he stuck it right in your breathing room, didn't he?
To get that done. And now we're moving quickly to implement those laws so people can feel the effects of what we did. We passed them last year, but they didn't take effect until January. The first thing we did was to help people who were truly struggling to gain access to affordable health care through the Affordable Health Care Act, and that was, or better known as Obamacare. I signed a rescue plan that increased the coverage and lowered prices for affordable health care, saving millions of people about $800 a year.
Lying makes you
My new budget. And my new budget for this year makes that permanent. Almost 100,000 Nevadans get their health care through the Affordable Health Care Act, and 300,000 have coverage because of expanded Medicaid under the Affordable Health Care Act. Unfortunately, and by the way, I mean this sincerely.
And by the way,
It's not a broad criticism of all Republicans. This is not your father's Republican Party. This is a different breed of cat. No,
he's over there breeding cats. Klaus Daniels is scared. He just ran out of the room.
I knew a lot of good Republicans who represented this state as senators. They were friends. We disagreed. but they were conservative Republicans. But these MAGA Republicans, they're just different. They continue to be determined to repeal the Affordable.
They're a hybrid. There's something else.
It's hard to believe, but they've already voted to change or get rid of the Affordable Care Act since it passed 50 times. 5-0. They failed every time. And the one thing I want you to know about the Affordable Care Act is that the way for people with pre-existing conditions to get health care, if you have a pre-existing condition and you can't afford your health care, your private plans, you do not get coverage anywhere. And this is the only outfit. If in fact you do away with the Affordable Care Act, if you have a pre-existing condition, you don't get coverage otherwise. If MAGA Republicans had their way, as many as 100 million people with pre-existing conditions would lose their protection. That's a fact. And folks, look, the Affordable Health Care Act also means by which millions of hardworking Americans have access to preventative care, like cancer screenings. MAGA Republicans put that at risk as well. And nearly 40 million Americans would be in danger of losing coverage completely if they were to succeed. We're making health care more affordable in other ways as well. Last year, I proposed a piece of legislation called the Inflation Reduction Act, which we got a lot of things done bipartisanly. This one, there was not any support on the other team at all. But the result of the law is that seniors on Medicare get common vaccines for things like tetanus, whooping cough, shingles. They get them for free now. They used to cost them up to $200.
Remember when the president used to just talk to all Americans, not just the blue team?
Today shows that if our plan had been in place in 2021, 3.4 million seniors, including 24,000 Nevadan seniors, would have saved an average of $70. You know, America spends more on prescription drugs than any advanced nation on earth, more than any advanced nation on earth. You name the drug you have to take, and I can take you to France and get it to you a hell of a lot cheaper, to Canada, England, throughout Europe. It's not fair. But after decades of trying to take on Big Pharma, we finally won. Now, instead of paying whatever the drug company wants to charge you, Medicare will be able to negotiate prices. Medicare provides will drive down prices because we give Medicare the power.
Thank you so much, Big Fella, for that $5 donation on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you.
They're going to pay for whatever drugs they're prescribing to the military. Well, I know many of you are healthcare professionals. You understand this better than anybody else.
Again.
For example, insulin was invented 100 years ago. And the guy who invented it decided not to.
Steve, I hate the shape of his head. I'm saying.
$10 a bottle.
Just every little thing. Just nitpick him to death. It doesn't matter.
You count everything expanded. You can say you get up to $13 if you talk about packaging, shipping, and the rest. And guess what? They're being charged.
Guess what?
$100 a while. So beginning January 1st of this year, even though we passed the law last year, wasn't until January 1st I kept telling people it was coming. We capped the cost of insulin at $35. $35 for seniors on Medicare. And folks, if it had been in effect in 2020, nearly 11,000 Nevada seniors would have saved an average of $439 on their insulin. But I've been calling on my colleagues to cap the cost for everyone, including 200,000 children who have type 1 diabetes, who need insulin every day to stay alive. I was doing a town hall meeting in Northern Virginia last year, and a woman stood up, a very sophisticated lady. She said, I have 2 girls. They both have type 1 diabetes. And she said, and I can't afford it. So what we have to do, we have to ration the insulin between them. Talk about being deprived of your dignity. Man, looking at your child, knowing if they don't get the insulin, their life is literally in danger.
He just says the same stuff every speech.
And not know what to do.
Thank you so much, Faber J, for continuing the membership program for 2 months. You're officially a hooligan. And I appreciate you. Thank you.
This insulin maker in the United States of America announced that they're going to answer my call, and they're going to make this insulin available to everyone in America for $35. And yesterday, Novartis, another drug maker, announced they're cutting their prices for insulin as well. Look, folks, another aspect of the Inflation Reduction Act, and it's a fancy sounding phrase, but is the drug companies that raise prices faster than inflation have to pay back the difference to Medicare. So if they're raising the price and Medicare and you have the circumstance where the inflation is up 4% and they increase it 12% or 15%, they have to pay the difference to Medicare. Yesterday, I learned that last quarter, drug companies hiked the prices for 27 drugs that are on the market above the new limit. Now those manufacturers are going to have to pay the difference back to Medicare. As a result, the Department of Health and Human Services estimate this will make co-pays for those drugs will be as much as $390 cheaper.
Miss Jamie, yeah, the audio's off sync.
Change the way drugs.
I don't know. I'm not really surprised, though. The White House really sucks at running lives.
And it's equally consequential to me that, as many of you in this room know, we're capping out-of-pocket drug expenses for seniors on Medicare at a maximum of $2,000 a year beginning next year. Now, but right now, we have, regardless of how much they cumulatively are paying for all the drugs they need, and now it's capped at, and because my family has been deeply involved as a consequence of cancer and my son dying of
An illegal activity.
My son dying of stage 3 glioblastoma because he was exposed to those burn pits for a year in Iraq. Anyway, you all, how many here have had you or a family member be diagnosed with cancer? Raise your hand. It's probably, as the docs know, the most devastating word they can tell a patient. You got a serious heart disease, you may die. That's worrisome. More people die of heart disease than they do from cancer. But cancer scares the living hell out of every single person. Well, folks, you know, a lot of those drugs now that are available that are very helpful. And by the way, I've declared war on cancer. We've set up, no, I really have. I've gotten $5 billion for cancer research through NIH, like we did through the Defense Department for special weapon systems, the same system. But here's the deal. Some people are paying $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 a year for expensive treatments like cancer drugs. It's going to give seniors certain peace of mind because no matter how much they pay, they're not going to, how much the bills are, they'll never have to pay more than $2,000 a year for all the drugs they consume. It changes the peace of mind people have. And guess what? It's going to save seniors money. It's also going to save the government money. My Republican friends say, what are you going to cut taxes for the wealthy? I said, no, I got a better way of saving money. Not a joke. If, in fact,
it's not a joke,
the amount of money that can be charged to reasonable prices by the drug companies, you know how much we'll save this year? $160 billion. $160 billion.
You're going to save us $160 billion?
Because
well, they'll love that overseas.
Less they have to pay out to provide the drugs for the seniors.
He's trash.
So it's not only the right thing to do, it is a conservative thing to do in terms of cutting the federal budget. But here's the deal. As I've said, this is not your father's Republican Party. The mega Republicans in Congress don't think...
Oh, no, he's restarting the speech over again.
They think big pharma should be able to make the exorbitant profits at the expense of the American people they've been making. And I want to repeal they want to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. Roll back savings for seniors, add to the deficit another $1.6 billion, and continue to line the pockets of big pharma. Look, I'm a capitalist. I want, if you go out and make a lot of money, go make the money. Just pay your fair share. Just your fair share.
Yeah, Ken. It's super obnoxious. He's over here smacking his lips and stuff.
I have no problem with company making reasonable profits, but my Lord, not on the backs of working families and seniors. And this is really what gets down to it. It's about fairness and decency, and providing people some dignity. Last week I released my budget. I met, by the way, and I apologize to the press that's here. They're tired of hearing me say this. I met with the new Speaker of the House. He said he is threatening that we're going to let the federal debt not get paid and put us in turmoil. We've never done that in American history. And the debt is accumulation of debt over 200 years. That's the debt we're talking about. And I want to lay, I said, look, I'll lay out clearly what we support. I'll lay out my budget on March the 9th. You lay out your budget, and we'll negotiate. We'll negotiate. Well, you know, my dad used to have an expression, for real. He said, Joey,
grab your ankles.
He'd say, don't tell me what you value. Show me your budget. I'll tell you.
Show me your budget.
Show me your budget.
Come out back to the shed and show me your budget.
Think about it. My budget takes steps to lift the burden on seniors and hardworking Americans, so at the end of the month, after busting their necks and their whole lives, they have...
That was a George Floyd joke.
That's what it used to be at our kitchen table. At the end of the month, is there anything left? You better pay anything, do you have a little bit of room? And again, it's about fairness, it's about your dignity. I value everyone having a decent shot. My Republican colleagues now in the House of Representatives, I think it's fair to say, not every one of them, most of them, are now at a point where they have a very different value set. We're strengthening Medicare and Social Security instead of threatening to eliminate them. And the MAGA Republicans in Congress are threatening to do. You know, when I don't know whether you saw the State of the Union, but it was kind of a fascinating thing. No, I didn't say for that reason. I was a senator a long time. I'm used to dealing with and speaking to the Congress and the Senate. And so I'm comfortable when I'm doing it.
They were clapping off cue.
Members of the House and the Senate, and I read the programs which some of their leaders had put forward to, in fact, cut Social Security and cut Medicare. And the gentle lady, as they say, from Georgia, in the mountains of Georgia, stood up and yelled, liar, liar. And then that generated, last time somebody did that, by the way, they got censored. But no, I'm not joking. But here's what happened. Then another half a dozen yelled, liar, liar, we're not going to do that. I said, oh. If you remember, I said, oh, you're not going to cut Social Security and Medicare? And they said, we're not going to. And so the whole group said, everybody who's not going to cut Social Security and Medicare, stand up. They stood up and hollered. Well, they're all on film. I hope it's true. I hope they've gotten there. But I'll believe it when I see it. Look, you paid for Social Security from the time you got your first check when you were 16 years old, working as a lifeguard.
We pay this guy to crap his pants and tell jokes like this. It's terrible.
There's ways to protect them without cutting them. Look, let me close with this. You know, let's finish the job. Let's protect the lower prescription drug costs for everyone. Let's expand health care for more people to get care. Let's keep building the economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not from the top down. And by the way, when that happens, when the middle does well and the bottom rises, the wealthy still do very, very well.
When the bottom rises?
No one, I commit to you, and I committed to this when I got elected, when I was running, no one making less than $400,000 will see a penny in federal taxes raised as long as I'm President of the United States of America. But look, but again, it's about just paying a fair share. When I got elected, there were, I think it was don't hold me to the exact number, 690 billionaires in America. There's now 1,000. You know what the average federal tax they pay is? THREE%. 3. They pay a lower tax rate.
He's trying to impress us now.
Custodians in this building. They pay a lower tax rate than any of you, basically. And so it's just not fair. I think you should be able to be a billionaire if you can earn it. But just pay your fair share. Just pay something. By the way, you know, everybody said, well, how was I able to have these new programs and still cut the deficit $1.7 trillion the last 2 years? Well, it was pretty straightforward.
Thank you so much, Trigger Crazy, for continuing the membership program for 21 months. You're officially a hooligan. and a hilarious bigot. I appreciate you, Trigger Crazy.
So I said the outrageous, and we got votes for it. I said they ought to pay a minimum of 15%. 15%, that's less than y'all pay. And guess what? It allowed me to
guess what?
So, folks, this is about just basic fairness and decency. There's nothing radical about what I'm proposing. And if you look at the polling data, it's overwhelmingly popular, what we proposed. Matter of fact, it's a hell of a lot more popular than I am. But I'm serious. So this is no time to turn around. Look, what the American people, understandably, a lot of people have lost faith in government for a lot of reasons. And here's the deal.
Yes, tell us what we understand.
And they haven't seen it. I don't know whether you've been surprised, but the number of people who've come up to me after January 1st saying, you cut my insulin costs, $35. Like, I didn't believe government would really do it. But there's a lot more coming. A lot more coming.
That's what she said.
Yeah, let me end by thanking the medical people that are here and the students. It really matters. It really, really, really matters.
Whose lives matter?
To do, like many people in this audience, have been a significant consumer of health care. My son spent 18 months knowing he was dying in the hospital. The docs and nurses just changed it. They made it. They took care of him. My wife and daughter were killed in a trucking accident. My 2 boys were expected not to live. You guys saved them. And you saved their sanity as well. So I think that, we vastly underestimate, and you underestimate, the psychological impact you have on people, not just the medical impact you have on them. So I'm here to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Folks, let's remember, we forget, we are the United States of America, and there's nothing beyond our capacity if we work together. So let's work together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
You guys are lucky I have a limiter on. He's gonna just blow the mic out and then walk away. Blew out the back of his shorts, blew out the mic, stepped off stage, staggering. That's how he gets down. Shaky old man Walter. Alright, so the next video is titled Ohio AG Demands Norfolk Southern Pay for Toxic Train Crash Aftermath.
Go to Ohio. The Ohio.
All right, let's get it started, hooligans. Oh, with audio.
Ohio, the Ohio Attorney General filing a lawsuit against Norfolk Southern after last month's toxic.
I'm gonna grab a drink. I'll be right back.
Suit seeks civil penalties, costs, and damages after the hazardous waste contaminated air and water in nearby areas. Joining us now is the Ohio Attorney General himself, Dave Yost. Mr. Yost, thank you for being here today. This lawsuit was inevitable, I think. What makes you think that you have a strong case against Norfolk Southern, and do you think this even goes to court, or will that company decide to settle?
Well, I think we've got a great case. There is obviously liability for the spill, damage to our environment, our economy, and our goal is to make sure the long term, the people of East Palestine are not forgotten. Now, does this go to trial? That's a good question. I met last week with a team of high-ranking officials from Norfolk and Southern, and they seem to be actually kind of contrite and interested in owning their responsibility. Perhaps this does settle, but we first need to make sure that we know the length and depth and height and width of this thing.
Cheers, hooligans.
So that we've done our due diligence.
Your governor, Mike DeWine, was on with Martha McCallum on the story yesterday. She was asking about the citizens and their investments there in the community. Listen here.
There needs, frankly, to be a fund established by the railroad to make sure that everything is covered for people in East Palestine in the future. And if they sell their house, and if they sell it for a lot less, who's going to make up the difference?
I heard the smoke detector sound.
Really,
needs to change the batteries in the smoke detector.
In a settlement fund.
All right. I feel like the people of East Palestine, they've been through so much. And one of these has been the questions of what is going to happen to the investments that they've made. And there's been a lot of miscommunication. Can you clear up for them what you're trying to do or what is happening there on that front?
Well, it's important to recognize that our lawsuit covers public wrongs and does not eliminate or trump, if you will, the private lawsuits that have been brought for individual as opposed to public damages. That being said, I've already had some initial conversations with lawyers from the other side about setting up a real estate compensation fund for exactly the kind of situation that the governor just mentioned in the clip you played. The delta between what the property was worth before the accident and whenever it gets sold. Obviously today, it's going to be pretty hard to sell your house or your business in East Palestine. And Norfolk and Southern is responsible for that. They ought to have to pay, and we're going to make sure they do.
What do the residents need to know about potential scams or spoofs? As unfortunately, in a situation like this, when you are stressed and vulnerable, you might look to something and say, oh, okay, we have a lifeline here. We have
getting spoofed.
But they need to be careful, and I'm sure you're keeping an eye on that as well.
Yeah, and so for the residents of East Palestine, I've had the same advice for the last month. Be careful what you sign. Anybody that's offering you a piece of paper to sign, you can bet they had a lawyer look at it. You should too. And for people that whose hearts are going out to the people of Eastern Ohio and want to donate to help them, please be careful to research the charity that is asking you for money or soliciting you. You can go on to our website at the Ohio Attorney General's office, protectohio.org, and look up the history of charities that are supposed to register with the Attorney General's office.
Dave Yost, Attorney General of Ohio, you've got a big job, an important one, in the new lawsuit. Thank you for joining the show today.
Thank you. It's good to be with you.
Thank you.
Well, they think they're going to get some money out of Norfolk Southern. We'll see. They haven't really admitted any wrongdoing. They just come out and say, well, trains derail. That happens. They've had one every day since the big one in Ohio. Whew. Got that Moonstone pear sake. It's strong. It's strong. Alright, so this next video is titled, Here Was a Real Serious Problem That Needed to Be Solved. Talking about crime in D.C.
With that, I want
Hooligans, let's get it started.
With that, I want to call up our majority leader, Steve Scalise. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. All Americans deserve to be safe. People who live in the District of Columbia deserve to be safe. When American citizens come from all around the country to see their government in action, and by the way, now that the House is open, where all people can come and see their government in action again. More people are participating in that process, but they deserve to be safe when they come here too. And Andrew Clyde recognized that. As you saw crime getting more and more out of control, and shockingly, the D.C. Council passed an ordinance that zeroed out, got rid of mandatory minimum sentences for violent offenders, people who commit violent crimes. If somebody carjacks you at gunpoint, used to be over 14 years they served minimum, brought it down to 0, and for many other violent crimes too. And Andrew, as the speaker said, heard from someone here in D.C. who said, can we do something about it? Congress has a constitutional duty to be able to govern D.C., to pass legislation, to solve problems. And here was a real serious problem that needed to be solved. When House Republicans ran to get the majority, one of the things we said we would do is fight for those people who are being left behind, fight for those hardworking families who government had just forgotten about. We said we would address crime in communities. In just a few short weeks, we now have a bill going to the president's desk that will be signed, that will save lives here in the District of Columbia.
That's how you know that he's not going to pass it.
We wasted no time to start following through on the commitment we made to America to address serious problems. You've seen it in the last few weeks. We passed another important bill today that'll go to the president's desk and probably be signed to declassify information on the origins of COVID so Americans can find out how this really started. A disease that affected every American all across the country and people all around the world. And you're going to continue to see us bring legislation week after week to fight for those families who had been left behind for way too long. But today we're talking about a bill that's going to make communities safer. And as the speaker said, this doesn't just involve D.C. We saw just a few days ago, the people of Chicago said, we're going to take our city back, and they fired their mayor. This is happening all across the country. People are fed up with crime that's out of control, and they want to do something about it, but we're going to do something about it as well. And this bill that Andrew Clyde brought forward, that all of my colleagues behind me proudly voted for, even with the president saying he was opposed to it, that's not why we do this. Whether or not the Senate's going to take it up, whether or not the president is going to sign it, is not the driving factor. The real issue is it the right thing to do for America? And if it is, we're going to do it, and then we're going to encourage the Senate to pass it. We're going to encourage President Biden to sign it. But at the end of the day...
Thank you so much, The Real Zooch, for that $10 donation on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Said it best just a few days ago when he talked about how dire this is. Because we stand with the blue. We've got the Fraternal Order Police here represented today. We support the men and women in law enforcement who keep our communities safe. But there's nothing more demoralizing to police officers who are risking their lives than when they see that they arrest somebody, a hardened criminal who committed a crime, created another victim. And even when they're found guilty, they get to walk scot-free and go commit more crimes. This is really happening. The police chief pointed it out. He said for every single person who's murdered, 11 other victims were created prior to that. So not only is this bill important to keeping our streets safe, there will be fewer victims in the District of Columbia when this is signed into law. There will be fewer homicide victims. There will be more people alive in the D.C. the next few months and years because somebody who commits a homicide, if there's 11 other victims, if you put them in jail the first time they're caught, there's not those 10 other victims and the 11th person that's actually a homicide victim who's killed. This bill will save lives, this bill will make streets safer, and this bill will send a message for other people around the country in state houses.
What's up, Shadow Patriot? Happy freedom.
To take action just like we are to make communities safer. And the man who helps get the votes to pass these bills is our whip, the hockey player, Mr. Tom Emmer.
Yeah, old man Walter, he's not in the business of saving lives and keeping people safe. They're never going to pass that. They want zero penalty for violent offenders. Look at Antifa. They love Antifa. They don't ever do anything to those people. Those little scared softies. They were over there harassing Turning Point USA over with Charlie Kirk. They arrested 2 people, but there was like over 100 of them there. And they only arrested the ones that spray painted the side of the university. Not the ones that kicked out the front doors of the school. No, not that. Not that. Just the spray paint. We'll just take them down for the spray paint. I'm thinking it's going to be spicy this summer. Everywhere they show up, I'm seeing people knock them out, throwing rocks and stuff. People have had enough of Antifa. Just criminals in general. I've watched a video on Twitter where there was an old lady who was interfering with some guy trying to walk out of a store with a grocery cart full of items he didn't pay for, because, you know, that's really common on the West Coast. Fill up your cart full of stuff and then just walk it right out the front door because no one's going to stop you. Grandma was not letting that happen. She ripped his mask off his face and everything, had him exposed. Somebody hopped in and helped, and dude walked away with nothing but his backpack and his bike. Packed up his toys and left. I was thinking, about time. About time. I think people have had enough. I think it's going to be really spicy this summer. What's up, Donna Sparks? Happy freedom. Thanks for being here. Alright, hooligans, we are at that point. We have 2 more videos, but they are against community guidelines over on YouTube, so we have to move over to the free speech platforms. I'm going to post the links for Rumble, Odyssey, JeffMACLive.com, and the link tree. That way you can go where you need to go in order to watch the rest of the show. I'm going to post the links. We're going to do the spiel deal, and then we will move forward. Thank you so much, Sniff and Glue, for continuing the membership for 27 months. You're officially a hooligan. And I appreciate you. Thank you, Sniff and Glue. Alright, I posted the link in the chat for Rumble, Odyssey, JeffMACLive.com, and the link tree that has all of my links on it. You guys have until the end of this spiel deal here to make your way over to the free speech platforms to watch the rest of the show. With that being said, please go to JeffMACLive.com. On the homepage, you can find all of my links listed. You can find the link to join Gilded for free. Gilded is currently the best way to receive notifications for when and where we go live, every time we go live. There is a news board on there to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world, and there's a ton of hooligans over there to hang out with and chat it up pretty much about whatever you want, all day, every day. So definitely join Gilded. Also on the JeffMAC Live homepage, you can find links to the merch store if you would like to grab some merch. We have shirts, hoodies, stickers, and coffee mugs. Everything is displayed in black and white or white and black. But if you find something you like, just click on that item to see all the different colors that item comes in. You can also find links to PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Stripe, Zelle, and Buy Me a Coffee if you would like to support what I do. There's a link on there that will take you to the Amazon wish list if you would like to send me stuff. It's really easy to use. Anything you purchase directly from the wish list will be sent straight to me without having to send an email, find an address, or anything like that. It's really simple. Also, you still have time to send me stuff for the birthday unboxing. I actually just went and picked up some things today from the P.O. box. You can send it through the Amazon wish list, or you can go to the contact page of JeffMAClive.com to find the P.O. box if you would like to send me something. Something that's a surprise. Just make sure you send me the tracking number. That way I can be there on time to pick it up, because after 3 days the post office will send it back to you, and they won't pick up the phone when I call. So if you don't send me a tracking number, there is a chance I may miss it. So that's the deal with that. And then finally, on the JeffMAC Live homepage, you can find links to the membership programs. We have memberships for YouTube, Gilded, Discord, Odyssey, Rumble, and Twitch. And then JeffMAClive.com itself has a membership program that will give you access to the private profiles, our social media area, our live streaming area, all the group chats, our messaging system, our alert system. JeffMAClive.com is just the best place to be. Instead of having this app and that app and all this other nonsense, you could just simply get a membership over on JeffMAClive.com and have all of the above all in one package. We were live yesterday having a voice chat. I think there was 9 of us in there, and we were having ourselves a party. We were in there like 4, 5, 6 hours or something, having a great time. I'm going to try and do a live voice chat. We were video chatting because we have that ability, but it was a blast, and we're going to try to do that every week. Maybe we'll do it on Saturdays or something like that, but you'll have to be a member in order to access it. So definitely go join up. Also, if you would like to check it out, we have a 1 free week membership coupon that's in the description. It's also at the very top of the link tree. There's no strings attached, no credit card needed. It's just a free week of access. After that, your access will expire, and then it's up to you if you would like to subscribe to the membership program. All right, we are at that time. Hopefully you guys have made your way over to the free speech platforms. If you are over there, please take your seat, get your riot snacks, go on and refill your drink. We're going to be getting started here in a moment. I got to help the YouTube platform out of the room for all of you viewers that only watch on YouTube. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next live.